Om. 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 Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraye. So we started verse 12 yesterday, wherein Krishna explains the reason people do not come to him is because of their fascination with quick results. And the previous verse was how no matter what anyone does, they are on his path alone. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah. Right? So those who worship me in whatever way, I bless them in the same way. O Arjuna, people follow my path in all ways. As you sow, so shall you reap. All that was seen. So there is no pagan's prayer. There is only prayer. Even those not connected to religion are blessed. Everyone wants to be free from feeling small. So that's the fundamental need everyone has. The spiritual path need not be arduous. Why? Because it is a question of understanding, and understanding does not require effort. It is only the preparing the mind, that is what requires effort, but not the knowledge itself. All matter is Bhagavan alone. He runs in and through creation. And the divisions are created only by the buddhi, a dualistic buddhi. I'll just read this last paragraph. So, all matter is Bhagavan alone. The material path does enable me to pick up some joy along the way. But that is only because Bhagavan is everywhere. He is not just in one place. In fact, upon analysis, we find that there is no such thing as material. All matter, all material is nothing but Bhagavan. There is nothing separate from Bhagavan. How then can we say this is material and this is Bhagavan? All these divisions are made by our buddhi, which is a dividing buddhi, a dualistic buddhi. Wherever it goes, the buddhi creates division, spiritual and temporal, profound and profane. Because it is basically a dualistic buddhi, it continuously attempts to create dualism. In fact, this divisive buddhi is the very nature of the jiva. That is why the jiva is Vedanta is goading the jiva, telling him Tattvamasi, that thou art, because that is the fundamental nature of the jiva. it's not right for me to say fundamental nature of the jiva. It is the nature of the jiva, the divisive buddhi. Thus, Krishna says, whether the people know it or not, whenever they pick up a moment of joy, it is me alone. The only problem is that they rest content scraping some small joys out of him, when in fact, he is the joy that is their very own nature. Not knowing themselves as Ishvara, the very column of joy, they settle for a small crumb that has somehow escaped from out of themselves. This, Krishna says, is a tragedy. The tragedy is not that Ishvara denies the people anything, but because they do not see their identity with him. Still, Krishna says, they are on my track. There is nothing to worry about. They will come to me eventually, because until they become full, they will not stop seeking. No one is going to settle for anything less than fullness. No one is away from me. In the next verse, Krishna explains that the reason people do not come to him is because of their fascination with quick results. This no one is away from me is in different degrees, right? Everyone is connected to Ishvara. Everyone is nothing but Ishvara. But like that dhume na vriyati vannehi yatha darsho malena cha. So it's the smoke. It depends on what is the extent, how thick that the avidya is, will determine how close to Ishvara they consider themselves. One where the thickness is the grossest, that is like the fetus and the womb. It takes time. It will take, but eventually they will reach him. And then the second degree is the next best degree is that of the dust on the mirror. Requires a bit of cleaning, but the the closest, so to say, is the smoke covering the fire. Just a little blowing away of the smoke is what is required. काङ्क्षन्तः कर्मणां सिद्धिं यजन्त इह देवताः क्षिप्रं हि मानुषे लोके सिद्धिर्भवति कर्मजा. So during desiring the results of actions here in this world, they worship the lords. They worship the gods. For in the human world, result born of action comes very quickly. Krishna had said earlier that many people had come to him, meaning that they had discovered their identity with him. But why do not all people come to him? Does he prefer only some people and leave the others out? Does the Lord have such ragas and dveshas? If he does, then he is no different from anyone else. How you invoke the Lord is your choice. Krishna responds to this question by saying that he denies nothing to anyone. If, as a jiva, the person chooses to have only so much within Ishvara's creation, only that much he or she will get. Even his greatest devotees are blessed by him in the form in which they invoke him, the Lord being impartial in every way. This means that the form in which you invoke the Lord becomes the Lord for you. If you invoke the Lord as a deity, Indra, for example, then the Lord is Indra. If you invoke him as the giver of a particular result of action, then he becomes that Devata, that deity. He can even be invoked as Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, or any planet, which is done in relation to a person's horoscope. Particular planets in particular locations have been found to indicate certain problems or situations for the person. Here, Ishvara is invoked as the planet itself, the Prarabdha Karma Adhishtana Devata, the presiding deity of the Prarabdha Karma. All such invocations are possible only because the Lord is available in whatever purpose he is invoked, the purpose being served by the invocation itself. Even people who have nothing to do with the Vedas get results. Rank materialists, for example, interested only in money and power, definitely get results. We also find that without religion, Russia and China are surviving. Previously, they survived with religion, and now, without religion, they are surviving, perhaps even better. Rituals and prayers have no meaning whatsoever to them. An ideal has become their religion. They are devotees of the state. For them, the state is God. Communism is nothing but statism. That is, the state is more important than the individual. Everything belongs to the state and nothing belongs to the person. Whatever is there is to be shared by all. The idea itself is good, no doubt. However, to enforce it, individual, individual freedom is destroyed. Anyone who raises his or her voice against the system is either prevented from speaking altogether or is sent where he or she cannot be heard by other human beings. Thus, individuals do not count at all. For those who hold this particular ideology, the state becomes God. Of course, such people will not call it God, but this is what God is for them. Why do people misplace God like this? Why do they not become mumukshus and go after liberation, freedom? Because they are unable to see beyond the immediate results that they see here in the world. And to gain those results, they worship different deities, devataha yajante, which can be anything, money, power, biceps, and so on. Desiring the results of various forms of action, kankshantah karmanam siddhim, people invoke these various deities. They do not invoke Parameshwara, the total as such. They don't seek me. They don't go after me. They don't, they don't want to know me. They want only to have these small results that they can see. They are bhaktas, all right, but they worship me as small deities alone, says Krishna. And why do they do this? Because having doership, kartritva, they think I am an independent person capable of doing what is necessary to get certain results. Only human beings have this capacity to choose action based on this kartritva, this sense of doership. Animals do not have this sense, nor do the devas. They have only enjoyership, bhoktritva. People want immediate results. So what is the why is it that people don't are not everybody mumukshus? Why do they? Because they want immediate results. They are unable to see beyond the immediate results that they see here in the world. They're not seeing, their focus is only the karma phala, not the karma phala data. So whether it is communism, where statism is their God, for them state is God, individual is not important. So they worship God in the form of the state, in the form of the ideal. Everything belongs to the state. Similarly, this what is God? It could be power, money, wealth. So the form in which one worships or for what one worships becomes all important. And getting immediate results. Kankshantah karmanam siddhim. Kankshantah is desiring. Kshipram is quickly, right? So I'll just read this transliteration again. Karmanam of action, siddhim, the result, kangshantaha, desiring, iha, here in this world, devataha, gods, yajante, they worship, he, because, manushe loke, in the human world, karmaja, born of action, siddhi, result, kshipram, quickly, bhavati, comes. So, karmanam siddhim kangshantaha iha devataha yajante hi manushe loke karmaja siddhihi kshipram bhavati. So, Krishna is explaining why they do not seek him. Although whatever they're seeking is nothing but him, but they're after immediate results. And likewise, when they propitiate those particular deities, that is what they get. So as long as they have doership, I'm an independent person capable of doing what is necessary to get certain results. Only human beings have this capacity to choose action based on this kartritva, this sense of doership. Animals do not have this sense, nor do the devas. They have only enjoyership, bhoktritva. So this is, Swamiji has included even devas here. So devas have no doership, they only have enjoyership. Only human beings have this capacity to choose action based on this kartritva. People want immediate results. The idea here is that people want immediate results. They do not want to wait. They see here that here in this world, The result or accomplishment born out of any karma takes place immediately. Many young people do not complete college because of the desire for a more immediate result, even though they are encouraged by their parents and older members of the society to struggle for a few years so that they can enjoy a better life later. Because a young man plays a guitar, he may think he is a musician. Seeing others who have become very popular and are making a lot of money, he wants to do the same. Therefore, going to college does not interest him. He even draws his father's attention to those people who became successful and made a lot of money with very little or no formal schooling whatsoever. Of course, he fails to mention those who did not educate themselves and are rotting in the streets. Instead, he will point to a particular uncle who did not go to school, but who happened to be at the right place at the right time and made some money. He then married a woman who also had some money and bought a certain piece of property, which escalated in value merely because someone decided to build a shopping mall in that very location. Just give me a minute. Young people do not want to study because they want quick results, or they may only pretend to be interested in music or electronics because, in fact, they are not interested in anything. Still, other young people may want to do nothing more than travel to faraway places with a pack on their back. Those people who have interrupted their studies for quick results find it very difficult to resume studying later because they lack the necessary discipline. In every university campus, there are people in their 40s and 50s struggling to complete college degrees. Since these people obviously have gained a value for education, why do young people not want to study? Because, like these older people before them, they go for quick results, immediate success, without really knowing what they want in life. This then is what is meant by people invoking small deities, whether they are devotees or not, the deities of money, power, and so on. The desire for quick money is what makes a person deal in drugs and buy lottery tickets. If at all a person prays, he or she does so at the time of buying a lottery ticket. Oh Lord, please let this be the winning number. Right? So the whole concept of this section is that they are after immediate results. That is why a student does not want to even continue studies. They want quick money. So they may resort to anything, any extreme, getting into drugs or peddling drugs, stealing. So they don't want to go through that, um, go through the effort of struggling, of going through university in order to get a degree so that they can live rightfully. They want quick results. People want immediate results. So this is the fundament. This is the reason why all people are not mumukshus. Is the Lord really impartial? Therefore, Krishna is saying here, don't blame me. Don't say that I am partial and that because of my likes and dislikes, all these things happen to people. But his statement can still be questioned based on the seemingly unjust differences we see among different types of people. If, as Krishna says, he is the author of the world, Srishtikarta, the one from whom everything has come, then ultimately he is the author of all the people in the world. Why then has he placed some people in elevated positions and others in lowly positions? Why, in the Vedic context, is one person called a Brahmana, another a Kshatriya, yet another a Vaishya, and still another a Shudra? How is it that there are such differences in the world? The Brahmanas have their own position in society, as do each of the others. There is a certain order, a hierarchy, wherein one group of people seems to be superior to another, and some people have no place in the system at all. As the author of this world, is Ishvara not responsible for all these differences? And if he is responsible, he must certainly have a problem, the blemish of partiality. Why else would he put a silver spoon in the mouth of one person, a gold spoon in the mouth of another, a platinum spoon in the mouth of yet another, and no spoon at all, not even a plastic one in the mouth of still others? And there are people born with no mouths at all. Why does Ishvara do these kinds of things? So, this is a natural question. And it is very easy to attribute partiality to Ishvara because there are so many differences out there. If this question cannot be asked and answered, why bother about God at all? It is not enough to it is not enough to say this simply means that God does whatever he does, and because he is God, no one can question him. Well, he may be God, but I am the sufferer. First, you tell me he made me, and then you say he knows my problems better than I do. How? I am the one who is born crippled and cannot see or hear. God seems to know that being crippled, blind, and deaf is not a pleasant life, since he made me this way. But I know better. If God knew what I know, he would definitely have made me differently. And since he didn't, isn't he just another defective manufacturer? So these are all the Pratipaksha Bhavana, the questions coming from the Pratipaksha. They're all questions that seem rightfully, seem right, right? So why is there so much of a disparity? Why even a caste system? Why is someone placed high, someone placed low? Hmm? And if all this, because why? The fundamental thing is that God is the creator of this world. So if you buy a car in which even the slightest flaw is detected, there is such a furor made about it that the manufacturer calls back all the cars of that particular design, if only to change one bolt in the brake system. But as a manufacturer, Ishvara cannot be questioned, it seems. Nor does he call back anything. He does not say, I'm so sorry, this was a hurried job. Please send it back to me and I will give you new legs or whatever. Instead, the person has to suffer through life without legs, eyes, ears, and so on. What kind of God is this that sits above us somewhere, having a wonderful life, while some unfortunate person has to inch along the ground because he or she is lame? And if God made such a crippled person, the least he could do is to put the person in America where motorized wheelchairs are readily available. Even this much he does not do for the person. How can we look at such differences and say that God is justified in all that he does? What kind of justification is this? All this seems very logical, right? You find some people born with parents and others do not even know who or where their parents are. A child may be born in South Korea to one set of parents and be raised in Vancouver by another set of parents. Everyone thinks he's doing very well, but in fact, he is not, because he's painfully aware that he is noticeably different from his parents and his brothers and sisters. If he had been raised in Korea by his original parents, he would look the same as everyone else and would not have the problems he has growing up in Vancouver. Even though a baby is a baby, adoptions do not really work. Even animals who have been adopted have problems adapting to a new habitat. Why would a baby have to be adopted in the first place? Whether in this country or elsewhere, why should the child not be with his or her own parents? Because we do not know where the father and mother are, we say the child is an orphan. If everyone is created by God, can we say an orphan is created by people? No, again, God seems to be some kind of a sadist. Has God Himself said we must follow Him? Further, I am told that not only has God made me, but He has also said that I must follow Him. And how do I know this? Someone else tells me. The least God could do is to come and tell me Himself. Then this would all mean something to me. In fact, God should tell everyone. Instead, someone else tells us that God told him and then asked him to tell us. If God wants me to know this, why does he not tell me himself? Also, another person sometimes comes along saying that God told him that what he told the first person earlier is no longer current, and what we are now going to hear is the latest word from God. This kind of God is someone we would all be better off without, in fact. If God is something that is to be established, the concept should be a rational one at least. What is unreasonable cannot be accepted. Thus, the issue being addressed here is valid. If God made all these divisions among people, Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras, to use the Vedic context, then he must definitely be partial because the Brahmanas seem to be better off. To deal with this concern, Krishna acknowledges that he made them all, and at the same time says that he is not to blame. So that goes takes us to the next verse. Let me stop here. I know this narrative, there's not really much to understand. It is only a form of rhetoric. It's a questioning. It's all about questioning why, if God is the creator of the world, of the universe, why has he made so many, uh, so much of polarity? There are some people who are suffering, there's some people are enjoying, some people have eyes, ears, some people don't have them, some people are lame. And then about God says, come to me or pray to me. And this comes from someone else. So the question is, why doesn't God come himself to tell everyone that they have to pray to him, that they have to follow him? So the reason why people do not follow God, or are all people are not mukshus, is because kshipram, they want the results quickly, immediate results. And they are caught up in this mesh of seeking immediate results. They're ultimately, no doubt, on the same path as Ishvara, Mama Varthma, that is it. But they don't know that they are entangled in this desire seeking and the desire getting fulfilled cycle. Yeah, let's all share before we go to the next verse. Let me know if you want me to repeat anything. There is,
That Anathashram episode, you can read that again. That why he feels means there will be always means he should not be said anath because God is always there for him. That paragraph, can you read again?
yeah, so even though a
Hmm.
baby is a
Hmm.
baby,
Hmm.
adoptions do not really work.
Hmm.
Even animals who have been adopted have problems adapting to a new habitat. Why would a baby have to be adopted in the first place, whether in this country or elsewhere? Why should the child not be with his or her own parents? Because we do not know where the father and mother are, we say the child is an orphan. If everyone is created by God, can we say an orphan is created by people? No, again, God seems to be some kind of a sadist. So, all this is pointing out it is seen from a limited vision of looking at God as the creator and therefore attributing partiality, sadism to God, that God has created all these divisions. But where do these divisions exist?
In the people's mind, actually, and
In
whoever.
the
Hmm. But the child will always suffer like that, no?
child will suffer like what?
Means
Like an
uh,
orphan.
I orphan, huh? In his mind, because the people make him feel like that he is an orphan, so that thought will be always in his mind. So for baby, that is the problem, but it is created more impact because of the others around him, because he may be knowing he was an orphan
Yeah,
and we have adopted it.
right.
But when the knowledge will come, he will accept that situation, and he will means uh, he will be on his own. He will know that I am God's child. if
Right. So,
he is in knowledge, he or she.
so if we go with uh, the belief, the faith that everyone is created by God, then no one is an orphan. It is created. Orphan is the concept. Orphan is what is created by people. A child who does not have parents is considered an orphan. But if you go back to who created the child, who is the ultimate father or mother, it is nothing but God. So basically, but again, coming back to that Lord is the God is the creator, Ishvara is the creator of everyone. So there is sadism attributed to him. Why he made some people have parents and some they don't have parents. So basically, all this argument is all about questioning the the impartiality of God, questioning why there is so much of disparity in the universe. Which, as we know, when with this at least idea that what is real, what is not real, we know that this is coming from the level of the buddhi that sees differences. But when you look at the standpoint of Ishvara, there is nothing, there is only one. From the standpoint of a jiva with limited knowledge, with avidya still covering him, there is, you see all these differences. And therefore, you end up questioning God. But the fact is, all this matter, so called materialism, the whole universe that we see, we think is gross, we think is real to us, is actually an illusion. So, in an illusion, how can you attribute doership to Ishvara and consider him being impartial, consider him being partial and sadist? He created the universe with a set of rules. And because of those rules, the whole thing is going on and it'll go on. It'll go on and on until one becomes a mumukshu and then ends up being a jnani. Till such time, this whole roller coaster will continue. And this questioning God, oh, why did he create this? Why did he do this? Why give me so much pain? Why he's made those people so happy? Why not me? So all these so-called relevant questions are actually irrelevant. So then there may be a question. Why did God at all create the universe? For what reason? So what Vedanta says is, he just had a tokamaya. He just had that desire. And from there came the whole gamut of creation. It's funny, right? When you extrapolate and imagine that we're all part of that desire. And each of us, again, being on this path, the whole sole purpose is to realize and get back to that nature before the desire began. That is why they say the center of the universe, you are the center of the universe, each one of us. Because from you, the center, the universe takes forth, projects out. And the way I see the world is different from what others see. That is the Pratibhasika Satya. Vyavaharika is there for all of us to see. We see the mountains, we see the rivers, we see the trees and everything. Vyavaharika Satya is there. But Pratibhasika Satya, every individual has that subjective reality, how they perceive the world. So for a jnani, there is no Vyavaharika Pratibhasika. They are just in that Paramarthika Satya. Whereas all the others, Artha, Artharthi, Jignasu, they're all in various levels of Pratibhasika Satya. For an Artha, the only reason he or she prays is to get out of that distress. He is only looking at his misery and wants to come out of the misery. Whereas an Artharthi wants money, power, fame, name, caught up in the materialistic world. A Jignasu is one who is exposed to this knowledge, who's a mumukshu, who knows, oh, this is all ultimately not going to take me anywhere. So let me seek the truth, seek knowledge. The Jignasu is one who's seeking and praying for that. A Jnani is one who, having gone through these stages before, becomes one with the, not becomes, is one with the, one with Brahman. Anyone wants to share anything?
Actually, I had means one confusion. What Gurudev always say, mind is outside. We are in mind like that, and now he said buddhi is also outside. So that same thing is coming in my mind. So every thought, whichever is just a outside thing. Means we are not that also. So here the orphanage thing is coming. People are saying that's why his thought also will become like that. That thought of um, series is coming into my mind.
No, I didn't. I don't think I understood what you're saying. Can
Uh,
you
Guru,
please repeat?
Gurudev says buddhi is also outside of you. So the buddhi, whatever his thoughts and everything, and it's from coming outside because of the periphery, the people are there, whatever they are thinking, talking, and calling each other like names, etc. So this is all bahya thing, means not inner what you are. So that also made impact on our mind. So we become like a we think like I'm a sarla, I'm a brahmara, like that. So the buddhi also works like that. Then me myself starts working there.
Yeah, the buddhi is the one that creates the dualism.
Hmm.
The Dvaita Bhava is because of the buddhi.
Hmm. But he said buddhi is from buddhi is also outside of you. So now whatever people are saying, you are like that, you are orphan, then that he catches that, and the same thing will be in his mind for a long time, and he will think of finding parents or something like that. So the thought has come from the some other person, and then his intellect also work like that, and he will find the source of his origin. He will find the physical parents first, like that.
Mm.
Trail may be different as buddhi is outside you, Gurudev says, because he, till the time buddhi is not purified, and whatever is fed to our buddhi from outside, we will analyze things like that, and duality will come, and like everything will happen because of the surrounding, maybe. And till the time Viveka comes in the Buddhi, we will be, like you say, na, yo-yo. Our life will be like that. So Jnana is the purifier only, knowing our nature. Thank you. May not be what I say, you
No,
understood or
I
not.
see what you're trying to explain, which is true. The Gurudev says the mind is outside the body. The mind is not inside the body.
Same 3-4 days before in satsang, he said Buddhi is also outside the body.
When you look at the koshas, no, Pancha Kosha, you have the Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya, and then Anandamaya. So these are layers, they are coverings that are more expansive. The grossest is the Annamaya Kosha.
Your body.
The most expansive is the Anandamaya Kosha. And in varying degrees, you have the Manomaya and the Vijnanamaya Kosha. So the Buddhi is there at the level of the Vijnanamaya Kosha.
But we used to say, na, my buddhi, my buddhi breast. Means that things now coming very clearer now, more clearer.
So this is nice. This whole 12th verse is all about the small doubts that we all must have had at some point of time. Why there is so much of disparity. And God is created, and further I'm told I am supposed to follow him. I'm supposed to pray to him. Why doesn't, and someone else comes and tells me. We have this Guru Parampara. This Guru told him, or my grandfather told my father tells me. So it is like the Parampara, someone is, it has come handed down. Why doesn't God himself come and tell me? So these are all the questions that might interrupt our contemplation. So it is important for us to clear them up. Therefore, having a clear understanding. So therefore, the Krishna goes to the next verse and says, to deal with this concern, Krishna acknowledges that he made them all, and at the same time says that he is not to blame. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah tasya kartaram api mam vidya kartaram avyayam. One of the most controversial verses that has brought in so much of controversy in how people view Hinduism. And even amongst us Hindus, this has caused a lot of unnecessary conflict. Maya, by me, guna karma vibhagashaha, a division based on duties and qualities. Chatur varnyam, fourfold grouping of people. Srishtam was created. Tasya, its kartaram, author. Api, even. Mam, me. Avyayam, changeless. Akartaram, non-doer. Vidhi, no. Maya gunakarma vibhagashaha chaturvarnyam srishtam. Tasya kartaram api mam avyayam akartaram vidhi. The fourfold grouping of people, a division based on duties and qualities, was created by me. Even though I am its author, know me to be a non-doer, ever changeless. I'll repeat this. The fourfold grouping of people, a division based on duties and qualities, was created by me. Even though I am its author, know me to be a non-doer, ever changeless. Here, Krishna is referring to the Vedic system that divided people into 4 groups, saying that he has created both the people and the groups. As the creator of everything, Srishtikarta, the Lord cannot deny his authorship, nor does he here while talking to Arjuna. So he's owning up the creatorship. Although this classification into 4 groups refers to the Indian context, what Krishna says here is universally applicable. In other contexts, we see people divided in terms of royalty, nobility, wealth, and poverty. Still others refer to groups of people as the upper class, upper middle class, lower middle class, and so on. Wherever there are people, such classifications or groups are always to be found. In the Vedic context, people are divided into 4 groups on the basis of their qualities, gunataha vibhaga, and on the basis of what they have to do, karmataha vibhaga. This division was created by Bhagavan. About this, Krishna says, understand me to be the maker, the karta of this fourfold division. At the same time, he also says, understand that I am not the karta. I am the non-doer, akarta, because I am changeless, avyaya. I do not undergo any change whatsoever. I do not undergo the change to become the karta. How can Krishna say he has created all this and also say he is not the doer? In order to resolve this apparent contradiction, we will first look at the division of people based on guna and karma. Then we will look at how Ishvara can be their karta and at the same time be a non-doer. So we'll come to this tomorrow. We'll stop here. Pretty interesting verse, and for us to understand it well. Yeah. Chaturvarnyam maya srishtam gunakarma vibhagashah. Tasya kartaram api mam vidhi akartaram aham avyayam. Yeah. We'll do Manana tomorrow. We'll stop here. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Tat Sat Shri Krishnarpanamastu. Jai Gurudev.